if you're not thriving anymore, then it's time to try to figure out what else do you want to do, right? And that was kind of where I was at. I was 18 years in my own business, and I was like, I've stopped learning. There's no more for me to learn in this. I still want to learn.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to another powerful episode of Marketing by Design. I am your host, Andy. I am the founder here at MMG Design and the host of the Marketing by Design podcast. And I want to thank you guys for following along on this journey with me. Today's episode is with a very special guest and close friend of mine. She's collaborated with our business, and her name is Laurie Leer. Laurie Leer is the recently appointed marketing director of one of the biggest corporate accounting firms in the country, SingerLewak. With over 500 employees across 18 locations, Laurie has a lot to manage. This is going to be a super real conversation on how you manage communications across such a big team of talented contractors and in-house people. We're going to talk about how she manages her own energy so that she can disperse it amongst the team members. We're going to talk a little bit about her business ownership and freelance career before she transitioned to such a high-stakes corporate role at SingerLewak. And we're going to touch a little bit on a lot of the topics and trends in marketing today. Remote teams, communication, avoiding burnout, all the important things that come with being a leader in today's marketing environment. This is just an awesome conversation. Laurie is someone I look up to a ton, and I feel very blessed to have collaborated with her on a professional level as well. Make sure you guys drop a comment, let us know what you think. Quick shout out to the AMA, our presenting sponsors for the show. This is entry number 103 of Marketing by Design. And without further ado, please welcome Laurie Leer.
I started designing when I was 16, so I'm very old now. It's almost over 30 years ago, but it was at the time where Macintosh was becoming like super popular, and Adobe was becoming really popular, but it hadn't taken off yet. So our high school got a computer lab of Macintoshes donated, and so that's where I started. And then I was like, I love this, and I went to college. And then I met a professor at the one I chose, which is Oral Roberts University. And he said to me, if I can learn from you, I want you to be here. And that was like, I got to go to Oral Roberts University. So I went to Oral Roberts University. And then when I graduated, got one job for a marketing company, and then jumped into my own. And then fast forward 18 years later, decided I didn't want to do my own thing anymore. And then said, I want to learn from people because I'm not learning anymore. So jumped into corporate world, had my first corporate job at the age of 40 or 39, because I did my 40th in Italy. So then that job led me here. And this job, I absolutely love it. I love what I do for SingerLewak. It's managing like 80 different businesses like I used to do for 18 years, but all in one place. All one theme, but I am able to twist it and turn it to that service and challenging and huge puzzle, and love it. I do love marketing for SingerLewak. Yeah. Does that answer the question? I don't know. Was that 30 seconds?
I mean, I didn't keep it on the clock, but it was more than 30 seconds, which is totally okay.
And then took a chance, and they just like helped and informed, and I can tell you, I must have had a meeting like every day for the last 2 years just to learn what they do so I could market it well and understand it. And I'm like 30-40% there. Like there's so much more to learn, but it's inspiring. Like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to learn more. I love to learn. So if I'm challenged to learn and then market that successfully, like that's like, oh, I can't wait to do more, you know. But that's SingerLewak. I just love it. It's like a home. Like every day is challenging. And if you're not challenging me, I'm like, I'm bored. But there's literally never going to be a time here where I won't be challenged to figure out a creative way to market these brilliant people at SingerLewak. So, yes.
That's awesome. And I think I want to be, as I progress in my career a little bit, I think that's what keeps you young, right? Is always being excited to get back to it. Because when I hear you talk about that, it's like there's so few people and that have sustained a successful career, and they're still genuinely as excited as you are. And obviously, I mean, there are days when it isn't as exciting. The work feels like work because it can be a lot, especially when you're managing a big team like you and you have a lot of pressure under you, and there's a lot of people that see the work that you're responsible for, and to see how energized you still are at that age, something that's very aspirational, just for me personally, as I fail my way forward into building a career. And it's very energizing. And even like when we've had some of these meetings, you've been you're very outgoing, you're very energetic. Even if you're having kind of a rough day sometimes, I feel like you're able to turn it on for the sake of other people, and maybe at the expense of your own how you're actually feeling, which is very admirable. And I see a lot of the same stuff in the people that I look up to, like my mother and my sister, who are able to do that and have done that throughout my entire life. So it's other people can see that just from the outside. I just wanted to let you know, and it goes a long way. So
Thank
sort
you.
of
You
branching
can't
off.
get me emotional or something.
No, no. I mean, I'm not trying to, but I just have that
It's
effect
well,
on
it's
people.
working, even if we're not trying to. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I save all my compliments, not like when we're talking on LinkedIn, I save them for when it's being recorded. So, um,
So you have proof. No, I'm
but
just kidding.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So every time you talk shit about me, I just have something to reference. Um, like I remember that. Yeah. Um, but I want to talk to you about because you have experience and something we've interviewed a lot of marketers.
Uh-huh.
Um, they have experience of all niches, right? And marketing is so expansive. You've done a little bit of freelance work. We collaborated on some of those projects as well. What can you say about the difference and the nuances between your time spent freelancing and your time spent doing it in a very more opposite end of the spectrum of a professional setting, like SL? Are there parts of it that you recommend to people who are maybe trying to decide between one or the other? Which parts of each do you enjoy? Let's unpack that a little bit.
I think for me, I did it the opposite that most people do it. Like most people start uh, working for corporate, as they call it, and then they're like, okay, did that for 20 years. Now I want to do my own thing, right? Versus
Mhm.
what I did was where I did my own thing and then jumped into corporate. And so it's hard to answer because as an entrepreneur, right? Like all your skills have to literally be developed, and you would know this, right? By the people that you meet, the conversations that you have, the network that you make, who are you surrounding yourself with, right? Who are you learning from? And that all has to be self facilitated, right? Like nobody's actually giving you a wage to learn so that you stay relevant and can build your business, right?
Mm,
So I think for that aspect, if you are a self starter and you're driven and you want to really, really learn about what you love, you can be an entrepreneur and be super successful at it. But then when it comes to working in a larger business, you have the benefit of not having to go outside your box for that leadership, for the people to help you and invest in you. It is up to you to reach out and build the relationships just like you would have to do in your own business, right?
hmm
It's internal business development. So if you're going to learn and you want to know what you're doing, again, it's personal investment. How am I going to learn this? And you have to reach out. So in both worlds, you have to have sort of like an entrepreneurial spirit of like, I want to do well at this. How am I going to do that? I have to surround myself with the people that'll get me there, that'll help me understand, that'll help me thrive and succeed and grow and learn. Right.
hmm
So I honestly don't think there's one way that's better than the other. Um, it's really just about who are you with, who's teaching you, are you growing, are you thriving? And if you're not thriving anymore, then it's time to try to figure out what else do you want to do, right? So,
mm,
and that was kind of where I was at. I was 18 years in my own business, and I was like, I've stopped learning. There's no more for me to learn in this. I still want to learn. So that's why I
hmm
jumped into working for someone. It's a
hmm
hard jump. It is because you're used to like
Yeah.
making your own schedule and, oh, I'm going to take a few days off or whatever. And you
Yeah.
still have that even when you work for someone, but it's up to you again to like manage your work, manage your time, make sure things are getting done so that when you do want to take your PTO, which is what they call it, right?
Hmm.
You can take it and you hopefully won't come back to a mess of work. Hopefully you've done your job right, that's there and you've leveraged everybody around you. So I don't think
Yeah.
there is one that's better or the other. You have to be driven in both really to succeed in whatever you do.
Hmm.
You have to want it, you know. I don't know if that
Yeah.
answers the question, but
No, it does
because I
100%.
come from both sides of it, you know. So
Right. Yeah,
yeah.
and that's why I wanted to get your perspective on. 'Cause I think you're uniquely suited to have that perspective, and I like what you said, especially about even if you are at a full time or you're working under someone else's name, you're still responsible for getting the most out of it, right? It's not just check up and you show up and check a box and then all your problems are solved. The people that really thrive in those roles are the ones that go above and beyond, that give their team their energy like you do, and they show up for other people because a lot of the commonalities occur, and it's like I said, a lot of the members of the AMA here locally are kind of at that inflection point where they're trying to decide one or the other. I think it's a very fluid topic, and it's something that we've discussed a lot with past guests, and it's always been a really good identifier because without having done both, you don't really have the breadth of experience to speak on it like a lot of the younger people have. So super respect your take on that. When you guys are, let's talk more about you and what you're doing now at SL. So how do you guys talk about the team structure, the goals, how you sort of collaborate with your team and align on goals and missions, communicating what's important, setting together plans, stuff like that. I know it's like a 5 questions in one, but talk to me about like being a leader of a marketing team where a lot of people are seeing your work and there's a lot of, you know, juggling a lot of balls, a lot of goals that you guys are accountable towards checking and keeping stats on everything that's going on in a marketing engine like you guys are running. So talk about how you communicate as a leader with your team.
It's a couple meetings a month, I mean a week that we have. We are constantly also trying to speak and communicate via our teams to stay connected because we have to and we all work remotely. So you
Hmm.
really have to work extra hard at that too. Um,
Right.
but as I kind of settled into this position, and it took a little over a year for me to really understand what we do, and audit and tax, and then our practice groups. And there's so much that we do as a company. Um, how do you break that down for your audience without overwhelming marketing at the same time, right? Like, how do
Mm.
we not recreate the wheel every single month so that we can
Hmm.
actually do more internally as well, right? Because we
Hmm.
also have to help people internally connect because we're all basically working remote. So you got to work on that company culture too, right?
Hmm.
So how do you make time for public and how do you make time for internal? So we about a year and a half ago decided to break our services down monthly and then cross promote those services that would need each other, right? That would work with one another within SingerLewak. And then then we broke that down instead of doing that monthly. And then we broke that down to, okay, this is still a lot. This is still a lot to change up the theme every month. So then we changed it to, let's do a quarterly theme and we'll cross promote within 3 months. And then we can reuse our templates and put out great information and thought leadership and great videos. And it gives us more time to do that, right? Without recreating the wheel over 3 months. So now it's half the work. Now we can
Hmm.
take that other half of that work and communicate internally and make sure that everybody's on the same page and they know what resources are available to them. And we try to do even training, but we haven't reached one this year, but we'll get there. Um, we're a small but mighty team.
Hmm.
Uh, we get a lot done, and I'm so proud of the team that we have, and especially I don't know if I can say this, but bringing you in to help us out
Hmm.
too. just sort of like helps that vision build, right, of all that we can do. Um, and we really are seeing the payoff with just taking the little extra care so that we're not hurrying every month to do something. We're actually putting articulate thought into what we're doing and what the audience needs to hear
Mm-hmm.
from our partners and from our directors of how we can help. And I've seen it work much better, but that also comes with just our whole team having an understanding of what we do because we do
Mm-hmm.
so much, right? That if you don't have a clear basic
Mm-hmm.
understanding of we're audit, we're tax, we have subservice groups of audit and tax, we're informatics, we're franchise, we help business startups, we're a business solutions group. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and we do business management. How do you tackle all of that? Well, you have to take it quarterly and cross promote so people know we do all these different things. And then your audience isn't getting confused where you're
Mm-hmm.
just changing it up every month and trying to figure it out, right? So that's
Yeah.
really helped our flow. Um, we don't feel as stressed, we're able to schedule ahead of time now because we put a calendar together for the year. Everybody is aware because communication is super important, right? So all
Mm-hmm.
the partners who are involved, they're aware of when we're going to need them and we keep in touch with them. So it seems a little like circusy, but it all like
Mm-hmm.
flows. So we're just building layers and layers on top of that to make it even better, right? To implement new processes so that now this part that we're working on right now that we've got it solid, hopefully that becomes 20% of what we can do. And now we can add more layers to it. But it just takes time. You just have to make sure the layers that you have work well with one another. And then once you have that and it's like easy peasy, like you can make that cake all day without even thinking about it. Okay, now we can add another layer. And then you can add,
Mm-hmm.
but you've got to work with it because otherwise it'll just like, I hate to say cakes because I used to do cakes, but that wedding cake's just going to fall like if you
Mm-hmm.
didn't build it right. So anyway, that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. I give long answers, Andy.
That
Give
was
long.
such a good answer, dude. You need
Okay.
to stop. You need to give yourself more credit. That was so
Okay.
good. Oh my
Okay.
God. I literally, Riverside has a mark feature, and like I literally hit marks. Like that's the part that I want to clip. But that was so good. And I, like I said, I would give yourself more credit because Lori, I've collaborated on a lot of other teams and a lot of other projects, and there is no such thing as an organized marketing department. And I know it's so hard too because you made such a good point about knowing your audience and knowing what you do internally. Because marketing, there's like these two layers when you're doing it in house, right? You have the product itself, and not only do you have to know what that is, but you have to know the people that are receptive to knowing about it. So you have to know it so much deeper and be able to explain it. Um, I forget. I think it was Steve Jobs that said about marketing. It might not have been him. Is the first name that came to mind. Real talk, but he says something about if you can't explain it to a fifth grader and make them understand it, then you don't really understand it for yourself. And I think about that a lot as I try and become more verbally articulate and like how can I say more with less? And I think that translates especially well to marketing when everything is constrained in such a 30-second clip or a one-page landing page. How do you accelerate the time to understanding and reaching the main goal? I think is a really good practice, and I think that's the first thing that came to mind when you were talking about that. Where would you say creatively, because you have a big background, especially in freelance and at SL, doing all the different all the different things, and obviously you're in the more leadership managerial role now. But if you could say what your strong suit, and maybe it is the managerial part of coordinating the team, putting a schedule together, and being the organizer. But what would you say your superpower is or your strong suit? Several come to mind for me, but I'm curious to hear what that self awareness looks like, and what you think it is for yourself.
I think for me, and I've had several mentors tell me this with a smile on their face, that I'm the forever optimist.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
helps. That
Yeah.
helps a lot when you're like, man, this just isn't going the right way or it's not going fast enough or whatever it is. That forever optimist to me is like, it's all right. You guys are going to do it. Just push through. You got this. Your team's great. And so the optimism just will play in my head. if I'm getting down. Weekends helped a lot with optimism because sometimes
Mm-hmm.
your optimism is at a forever low by the end of the week sometimes, but
Mm-hmm.
definitely I'm 100% an optimistic. Like I
Mm-hmm.
tried never to be a pessimist about anything. I'm always just like, stay
Mm-hmm.
positive, stay positive, stay
Yep.
positive. So I'd say, I mean, sure, I'm creative. I know what I'm doing, but I've been doing it a really long time. So and I've had some great people around me that have taught me so much. So I'm really good at that. But what keeps it going is the optimism, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the ones that comes to mind to me too. I think another one that I would say too is just approachability. So there's a lot of leaders, there's a lot of people that coordinate projects they have people reporting to them and they're scared to even just start a conversation. Like not so much that they're worried about what people would say or the feedback on their own work, but more so just starting a conversation with someone. There's something to be said about how approachable someone is and how easy it is to come to them with your work, your feedback, your and just honest takes. And when we talk about like accelerating the process to the goal, that's just helps a ton because there's so much, you know, social politics that can happen when someone is closed off, when they're not doing their due diligence to pour back into their team. And that's something that I've seen in you is that you're very approachable, very open to ideas, and then you pull out of that bucket that of optimism that you have, which seems to be very deep. Tell me, like, that's a good question I want to ask. Like, tell me where does your excitement come from? Where does that optimism come from? Because it is, like, it's interesting that you answer that as like your own self, your own biggest quality. So that tells me that there's something there. So why do you think you are optimistic? Is it maybe because of a past experience, or just because you that's just how you want to be known for?
I think where it comes from is if you have a genuine like love for what you do, you're going to be optimistic because you love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the short answer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's
That's a good
just
one.
a genuine love for like, God, I love what I do. Like I really do love this. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And that same would go for really anything, right? Like your relationships, your my daughter, right? Like if you genuinely love it, if you I love my daughter, I love my husband, right? If things
Mm-hmm.
just aren't quite going right, you can't let that get you down. You just have to be like optimistic. That's okay. We're going to correct it. We're going to work on this. We're going to get through this. We're going to build on this. And that's where that you just always have to stay optimistic in that. You can never like let these little things that could happen just bring you down into like this darkness of holes, right? Where you're just like, oh, life is so horrible. All these things. If you let that happen, then you're going to lose your drive. So if you have a genuine love for what you do, you can be that forever optimist. If you stop loving it, then that's where you're going to have the like, oh, shoot, I think I need to change it up, you know? But
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely love it. Like, I think people at the firm, they know how much I genuinely love it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's like I just exude this energy to them, and I love that they see that, right? That
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, like I love this, like I love
Mm-hmm.
this. You guys have no idea how much you drive me to do well because they're
Mm-hmm.
so brilliant, right? So it's like I've surrounded myself with like so much brilliance that sometimes you're like, whoa, this is really cool, you know? So then it makes me want to be at that level, right? Every day. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to do it. Like it's just exciting. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard sometimes, but if you come back to the optimism and the love that you have for what you do, and you're just like, I can't wait to excel and do more because it's because you're thriving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the love and optimism will never go away because you're thriving.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that you've taught me, even just in the amount of time that we know each other, is that always is it's a cycle because I find myself being more energetic when I talk to you. I see the team members be, you know, a lot more outgoing and probably sharing ideas that they wouldn't normally when if they were just reporting to a boss. And so that's some really good feedback is that when you are more optimistic, you're going to get it back from other people too, just by the energy. And I made a LinkedIn post like I think over a year ago that said like like enthusiasm really is the magic word because you bring that to any scenario, Rory, and you know this, but people are just going to be if people feed off of it and they want to come back and talk to you. They want to be involved with what you have going on, and that can help you overcome so many of the personal obstacles that you might face in terms of when you're trying to build a career or to learn everything, juggle all the stress that we do, like in marketing. Um, if you just have a good mindset and good energy with it, and you manifest that and how you talk about it, how you treat the people, it goes a really long way. And I've learned that from you firsthand, so I appreciate it. Um, Sort of what we do on the show is we kind of go back and forth between like philosophical and tactical. So
Like it,
now we've
Andy.
gone.
I like it.
I know I'm keeping you on your toes. But now that we've gone a little bit more philosophical, big picture, talk about like really, really tactical when we talk about from a team perspective, hitting goals, managing a lot of different channels. When you guys when you work with like other creatives or contractors or people that you bring on, what are the things that you look for in people that could help you accomplish the goal of the marketing department? That can go into things like onboarding, communicating what SL does, kind of going back to what we talked about a little bit earlier, is really knowing the company, knowing their services, what they offer. But what goes into knowing who would be a good part of your team and helping your mission as you are the one that's kind of spearheading that?
Mainly, I look for people, and my team kills this for sure. Is people who know their job, they know what they're doing, um, they're very good at what they do, and if they need direction, they're going to come to me. But if they don't, I can just trust that things are getting done that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to let people like just fly, just shine. And if you need me, I'm here. Like if you guys need it, if there's something you don't understand, let's talk about it, right? Like my door's always open. But I also want anybody who's like working with me and they all do it. Own what you're doing and just fly with it. Like shine with it. Do your thing. Like that's why you're here. Like I don't own this. Like I've given it to you now and I don't even like just you got the direction. And if you're confused, like just come back to me and let's talk through it, right? I like people who are just self motivators, right? Entrepreneurial spirit, um, willing to learn, willing to come back with a solution, willing to come back and be like, I couldn't find the solution. Could we find one together? Um, I hope that answers the question, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
really, I think management in my mind is probably one of the hardest things to do because it's giving work that I would normally do as a business owner for myself, right? That I wouldn't have a team,
Mm-hmm.
trusting other people with it, right? And being like, here you go, right? Um, and that's probably been the one area being a manager now that I've had to work on the most, um, because I'm used to doing it all, right? And now I don't have to do it all. Now I have this great team of people who can execute it even better and have more time to spend on their expertise. And then I can do what I'm good at. And it's just this amazing team of people who are working for one goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've gotten much better at being like, okay, she's good at this, she's good at this, he's good at this, you see what I mean? I can ask such, and now I can let, and we get so much more done the more I'm releasing, being like, I trust you. Like, you guys are very good at what you do. Here you go. Can you do this? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's managing to me is being like, I'm one person and I have this wonderful team of people and we can all work together as like a giant octopus, right? And we're just
Mm-hmm.
getting it done and we're communicating. Um, I'm very blessed with my team. I feel like we do that very well. Um, we work very well together, especially with the other people in the firm too. They're very helpful, and if we need to reach out, like it literally is like a big octopus with tentacles. That we're all just working together with
Mm-hmm.
one, hopefully one common vision, brain goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that analogy too. Octopus. Um, I'm definitely not gonna forget that now. But yeah, and and I see it too. The and I think your attribute of being very of investing a lot into other people really helps in this because there's so many times and it's very top of mind for me as you get more comfortable sharing work, um, especially when it can fall under your name, that you do have to trust people and you have to accelerate the process of onboarding people, especially on a fast moving team. And it's not easy to do. It's like it's so counterintuitive to when you have all these goals that you have to hit every single day, all these posts that you have to make, all these channels you have to show up on. Um, it feels like it's slowing you down to have to explain what you do again. And you've done a really good job of this, just in teaching me a little bit about Elementor and how you guys set up the landing pages has been a huge help. And in turn, it also makes me a lot less self conscious to go and ask you questions in the future, which then actually accelerates the process of getting to the end result faster and getting more work done. So it does make a huge difference, and that's something that I want to talk about too as I sort of approach that realm for myself. Is how do you make people feel energized, and how do you make people feel like I feel when you teach me these things too. So that does help a lot. But I want to go more short term and sort of talk about very recent. What has you excited to like get out of bed in the morning? What are you looking forward to in the very near term and future? And just end on a high note. Like what has you stoked for life?
What am I looking forward to? I'm looking forward to the summer coming up. Um, my beautiful daughter Jessica will be graduating fifth grade and having a big party and stuff for that. And so I'm looking forward to. She's growing up so fast. Just spending time with her this summer. I think really what gets me excited in the morning, and it probably sounds probably really ridiculous, but I love everything that our team is working on. Um, I don't even know how to describe it. We just have so much fun in marketing. Um,
Mm.
so I just get excited to talk to my team and see how they're doing and how you coming on this. So you got that done. Awesome. Kudos, tackling
Mm.
little things together. It's just a really great team of people. Like I can't say it enough, right?
Mm.
So I look forward to that in the mornings. And then on Saturday mornings, I look forward to waking up with a cup of coffee and having no schedule whatsoever. I look forward to that. I look forward to taking my dog for an extra long walk and spending time with my husband and working on this house. It's been under construction for 3 years now and I need to finish my kitchen, which I hopefully do this Mother's Day weekend.
Mm.
Um, I just look forward to life and the life that we're living and building and growing, and I just love it. I just love everything about it right now. Like I just love it. I feel very
That's the
blessed.
optimism
Yeah.
again. The optimism
Yeah.
again. But yeah, dude, like I said, I see nothing but positive things for you, the team, and everything in the future. Like I said, the amount of energy and life that you give to other people is going to do nothing but just accelerate progress and accelerate, your your own personality, your own impact, and it's felt by everyone else that that's on the team, and you do such a good job of that. And like I said, I hope the main goal of this episode is to have something that you're proud to share and to get it out there. Because the way that you've made me feel, just in the time that we've worked together, if anyone else can get those Lori vibes from you too, that's a win for me. So tell people as we kind of land the plane where they can find you, learn more about you, find out about SL, everything, see all the awesome assets that you guys are making. Where can they go?
Well, that's a wonderful question to ask. So, if you want to learn more about me, you can always go to the SingerLewak LinkedIn, and you'll see the post there. And I think everyone has my reaction. So, Laurie Leer, and you can learn more about my background. I have a pretty extensive profile. I think I've edited it many, many times, but I think it's pretty good right now. But it is kind of long.
Mm.
And then as far as SingerLewak and where we can be found, we've done a pretty good job of trying to be found everywhere. So We're on YouTube, very prevalent on LinkedIn. We have a Spotify channel, The Balancing Act. We do a podcast monthly. And I feel like I'm missing one. And Instagram, actually.
Mhm.
We're populating into our Instagram crowd. So I think you'll probably find us anywhere. Plus, we are in 19 locations, including our corporate office. So that's from California all the way to Georgia. So hopefully, if we've done our job right in marketing, you search SingerLewak and we'll kind of come up right away.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also the website too. Make sure you guys check that out.
SingerLewak.com.
Um,
Absolutely. Thank you,
yeah,
Andy.
I had to add that. I'm sorry. Um, Man, what an awesome conversation. Huge thank you to Laurie for coming on the podcast. Make sure you guys check her out and everything she's doing over at SingerLewak. And also, make sure you guys sign up for a homepage breakdown. Quote Dan Blessing, the founder of Design Shark. Wow, this was awesome and exactly what I needed. There was so much good value in here for sure, and something I can use as a North Star to create a more effective and client facing site moving forwards. Quote, I would have paid 500 for this for sure. If you guys want another set of eyes on your website from an agency owner, founder, I'm looking at 500 websites a day. Improve your messaging and point out some of the things that you might be missing as we are all in the weeds of our own business. Sign up for those in the first link below while they're still available. Again, this is entry number 103 of the podcast. I want to thank you guys for following along on this journey, and we will see you next week on Marketing by Design. Peace.